Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Connected Live, and I'm on Instagram right now. Maybe a few people will jump on when they see me. It's a little bit early in the morning. I usually do these a lot later, but I have a really great treat. I have my husband home because the weather is so foul, and he's able to take care of the dogs for me. So you're actually seeing me in a different setting. I'm actually in my little office. Most of my office is on the floor because it's more comfortable for me. I like being on the floor. I may jump on a little bit later and do another one of these and show everybody what my basic mobility warm-ups are for the day. It's almost 9 o'clock here in Central Time, and I haven't done anything. I just enjoyed having a slow breakfast, some coffee, and having some help with the dogs. So I'm actually kind of happy about the weather because it's given me some help. So what am I going to cover today on this Connected Live? So as many know, I'll reintroduce myself. I am a holistic healer that's been working now for over 20 years, and I have a very successful practice. I do everything distance, thank God. Early on in my career, that kind of really hit that I needed to do distance work, and I was highly criticized for it because people really are stuck to the paradigm of they want to go to an office, they want to see somebody, they want to hug somebody. And I bucked that system really early on because I knew it was not a necessity, and I knew it would hamper me from helping as many people and animals as possible around the planet. So here we are today. We have social media, and my friend Joseph Sheeter, hi, he helped me get on social media. I was totally against social media early on in my career. Very shy person. I know it doesn't seem like that, but I actually am really introverted. But I realized in order to get my message out there and to help people and animals that I would have to do social media. So it started with like tribe.net, if you can go back all the way back to there. And then Tribe started to get a little bit weird, and then Joe messaged me and said, hey, we should get on Facebook. And so then we went there. All right, so with that said, I've been following I've been talking about the Great Awakening and what's going on in the country with ourselves around the world for a while now, and I've been describing what it is. And yes, I am following other people, and that was one of my topics for today that I wanted to talk about. I try to give credit always where credit's due. You just don't suddenly wake up with all this information. Yes, there's some intuitive information that gets given that is unique and new to an individual like myself, but most of the time, we're doing our homework too. We're trying to collaborate with others. We're trying to look for like-minded souls, like-minded energy. And like Marina J. Jacoby, and she's in London, and she's a wonderful healer, and she has a book, and she does a podcast, and she's really just a great person. And we've talked several times and messaged each other, and but for social media, I would have never found her. And it's like she's my sister from another mister. It's amazing. And she has the most eloquent way of saying things. So it's not that I think my practice is less, that I bring up other practitioners or places where I have researched to gain the information that I have at 51 years old coming March. It's that I think it's always, I think it's a sign of confidence and love when you're able to give credit where credit's due. Like Marina has this beautiful way of saying things that is so compact. Like the one that always stands out in my head was one of her first podcasts and write-ups that I saw when we connected on Facebook was rejection is protection. And I just thought, God, what a beautiful way, what a simple way to say it. And I always give her credit for that. And then a lot of the way that I do business, the business model that I follow came from a gentleman named Walter Russell. And when he passed away in the 1960s, he was called the Leonardo da Vinci of our times. And that was by Cronkite. And I may have gotten the example wrong. I have to look at that. My brain just skipped a beat. But he was that prominent, and he worked with IBM. He worked with former presidents. He was a an omnipath. He had several different careers throughout his life that he was excellent at, Walter Russell. So for all of you starting to listen in, he still has his books. He still has his university in Virginia. And again, I don't talk about this to minimize my work. I talk about this to let people know that there is a wealth of research out there in this area that people can look up. And so I followed a lot of what Walter Russell has to say. When I found his books, it's a very interesting story. I think I'll share that another time because that really is serendipitous. But it was years ago. And so it's always important when you work with anybody, whether it's in fitness, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a healthcare practitioner, whether it's a doctor, whether it's a therapist, you want to look for people that come from confidence and love and that are able to give credit where credit is due. I can tell you that I really do take people's measures by how they give credit or not to others. It tells me all about them. Like, I have seen several people that have been watching these videos that I've been doing as an outreach to try to help people. And there's always like a piece connected. They'll make comments on a post. They'll get defensive about weight or about their health. And they'll say something like, I'm sick of the judgment or something. And there was no judgment in my post. That was their own issues kind of coming back at them, their own ego issues. And then later on, I've seen how they have superseded their issues very shortly after, by the way. And I can see that it's absolutely connected to the work that I've been doing online and trying to help others with these videos that, don't have to be paid for. But yet they never give credit where credit's due. They're so busy trying to, again, their ego is still affecting them. So they've got to go into the self-glorification, that's what Marina Jaye described as well. She described it really well. 5D, people collaborate and they uplift each other. 3D and 4D is all about self-serving and ego. Now, just because you uplift each other and work collaboratively does not mean you don't have a successful business. It means that you are confident enough to make the pie bigger for everyone, because there is no one source that has all the information that you need in anything in life. The smartest people, the most confident people, no matter what their age, no matter what their intelligence level, no matter what their education, are constantly learning. And like, for example, let's go to rescue of animals. Rescue Me Incorporated, I sit on the board for them. Warren Eckstein, who's a very famous behaviorist, look up his name, he's magnificent. Warren's been around for eons, he's in his 60s, connected me with Joy Nadell. Joy was one of Joy's Rescue Me Incorporated, was the only rescue to date given a facility that was county run in California to do a massive adoption event. So this shelter would turn their facility over for a weekend and allow Rescue Me Incorporated host sorry about that, someone tried just to call, so sorry about that, to host a rescue event. And it's because Joy always came from collaboration. She made the shelter look really good. She collaborated, she helped them, she made the pie bigger for everybody. So of course a shelter would want to hand themselves over to Rescue Me Incorporated. And several times Warren Eckstein would do his radio show live from the shelter. And sorry about that, guys. I hope you're all still with me. Phone, my sister's trying to call me. I'll kill her. And I said that as a joke. So Warren Eckstein would hand the shelter, would do his radio show live from the shelter, and all these adoptions would happen. They would pretty much empty out the shelter, and that's because Joy and Warren, And oh my gosh, Rebecca, who does the Tibetan Mastiff rescue out of Los Angeles, these rescues I have experienced as being very collaborative, and they have promoted themselves effectively, and they have done rescue effectively with platinum reputations because they have collaborated, and it has not diminished them at all. It's only expanded their ability to rescue more animals in a quality way. Like Rescue Me Incorporated in 26 plus years has never had an animal returned. I think maybe one, and because it was a service person, but all their animals are microchipped, and the animal has never ended up back in a shelter. Joy has kept tabs over all the animals through 25 plus years. I mean, that's how rescue is done correctly. It's not turn and burn. And it certainly is not about self-glorification. It's about what's best for the animals. And so I've tried through the years to stick to people that are like-minded, like Joy, like Warren, like Rebecca. That's just rescue. Won't even talk about all the business connections. So like I do follow different models that I've researched through the years, and I share them with everybody. And so it's really important when people acknowledge their education, who they collaborate with, if they get ideas from other people and they acknowledge those people, that tells me everything positive. And the people that don't do that are the people stuck in 3D and 4D. That is ego, self-serving, which leads to the global narcissism that we're in right now, like people have talked about since social media has come about, and selfies and videos, and people going, aren't I cute, and making little photos and stuff, but it's constant. They say, well, social media is responsible for global narcissism. Well, in the way that it's partly been used, yes, but it also has been responsible for helping a lot of people connect in a very positive way. So with that said, you really want to look for people that know how to talk about others that they have learned from or have created or sparked ideas. So there's this gentleman, and I totally forget his name right now, but I know that he was a prize fighter. And he went on his Connected Live. So this is another piece I want to address about the Great Awakening. I will post his name in the comments when I post this video, because you can follow him too. He's not polished. I'm not polished. My hair never looks perfect. My backdrop isn't professional enough. He says he gets the same bad feedback, like people are saying, you need to be more polished with your language, blah, blah, blah. He curses a little bit more than me, but then again, he's a guy, and I'm really trying to restrain myself because I am from New Jersey and I can go there with the language, but I try not to, because I know it can turn a lot of people off. But he uses a lot of bad language, but he's very honest and he's very direct, and he's giving the information that he feels relevant. And he used an analogy yesterday about the Great Awakening and how impatient everybody is. And those of us who are already awake, staying in 5D, working on 5D, like committed to 5D, that they that he is the analogy, sorry about that, lost my train of thought. The analogy is, it's like we're experiencing a near-death experience as an entire population of the planet, and also in this country. It's like we have to have everything fail us as a population. Like if we look at the United States in particular, because I live here, we're looking at system-wide failures, system-wide. And we're seeing how the leadership, system-wide, this is not political. I'm not talking parties, both parties. Corruption, the child trafficking, the satanic stuff, the cabal, using the population, seeing us as just these things like cattle. It is literally, as those of us who are awake, that know a great renaissance is coming, and that the good guys are working hard to win this big fight against good and evil that's worldwide, not just this country. it is a near-death experience. We have to experience system-wide failure. So like when the body experiences a system-wide failure and you die for a few minutes, whether it's because of a cardiac arrest or a problem with a surgery, and someone has to bring you back with adrenaline or the paddles or with breath, it is absolutely a near-death experience that we're experiencing as a population. We're experiencing a complete and total failure on the local level, on the national level, the judicial system, Congress, the Senate. We are seeing so many discrepancies of how they're using all kinds of, movie magic to create lies to the public. Media is completely failing us, except for my one weatherman that I really like very much. Media in general is completely failing us. They are so skewed and so slanted. And again, I've told people, when you specialize in energy the way that I do, so when I work, for those who don't know, I do a combination of the three things that you have to pull together for quality of life for any situation. It has to be the energetic, the emotional, and the physical. All three have to work together in order to change a person or an animal's quality of life, or situation's quality of life. And so I address all three, but obviously my specialty is the energetic, and I address all three by pulling them together. And so people come to me when things aren't working with doctors or behaviorists or therapists, and they say, my God, you know as much or more than they do, because you know how to pull it all together and make the connections. Thus the name Connected Energy Healing. But with that said, my sister keeps calling me back. That's why the video paused. Sorry. So we are experiencing like that. And with that said, we have to understand that and have the patience. Those of us who are awake need to have that patience to allow kind of as much of the population to catch up as possible without losing our own faith, without losing our own hope, without losing our own positivity. Because, my friend John on Facebook posted this wonderful image, which I have always used as well. And the image was where your mind is at affects your overall health. So if you have a negative mindset, your immune system is going to be negatively impacted because everything is connected. And I talk about this a lot, but he posted a beautiful little thing today. And I wanted to acknowledge that. And so again, it's really important. We have to keep our heads about us and keep the hope, keep the faith, keep posting positivity, because that energy from all of us who are being positive, no matter where we are in the country, no matter where we are in the world, all those of us who are focused on positivity and faith and hope and taking right action, whatever that may be, in our work, with our loved ones, sharing hope, sharing patience, sharing, collaborating, being of service, doing our mission and purpose, that all unites, all that energy unites all around the world. And we can affect a better outcome, or even sometimes a faster outcome. Like they've even done studies. Harvard, I think, did a bunch of studies on this, which is really awesome. They took a particularly violent section of a city. I think it was actually New York, and this was about 20 years ago. And they had people meditate, Buddhists meditate throughout areas of like, I don't know how many square blocks, about positivity and love. The crime rate in that area over a month went all the way down almost to nothing. And it was because their activity, their action was hope, faith, and energetic. And because there were a certain amount of them in this so many square blocks, that energy was able to radiate out and on the subconscious level affect everything around them. So again, connected energy healing comes from that place of research that my energy, or not my energy, but when I focus positive energy that comes from all good places to an individual or situation. That's why people see practically immediate changes to the situation, because I've perfected in my own practice how to do that with energy. And then I counsel on the emotional and the physical to bring it all together to make for consistent results. But the fact is, all of us in our own places in the world, as long as we create positivity, we don't even have to know where the others are at. We just have to add it just within the blink of an eye. It's not a complicated meditation where you have to be a guru. You just have, even if you just say prayers or you meditate or you have kind thoughts, just send love out, let the good guys win. I have hope, I believe, man, what a statement. I believe in the power of good. I believe in the power of light. I believe that the good will supersede the darkness that is going on. And absolutely it will. Darkness can't withstand light. It just can't. So in whatever spiritual practice you're in, if you just spend a couple of moments a day, literally 2 or 3 breaths of sending out positivity, that's enough. You're adding to the whole thing of positive to help others. And so, yes, we are going through this near-death experience because a lot of the other population is so afraid to wake up, because in their minds, psychology-wise, it would invalidate their whole belief systems. And so it's scary to wake up, because everything that you thought or believed was true is not. And it doesn't make us wrong. It just makes that the belief needed to be altered in order to move forward. So the paradigm that I function with feedback is always, what are you doing well? What do you need to do differently? And therefore it takes the judgment out of it, and it really helps people move forward. Now, I say these words and like people will say, oh, I can do that too. And some people will be able to, but there are a lot of people that need help to do that, because they need specific behavioral examples to attach to in order to understand how to learn that. And so there is a process to the brain. There is an emotional component. There is a physical component to it. The energy just doesn't work like that. It's got to be retraining the brain and the body to do things differently. So that's why people work with me. So I think I'm going to end it here. I do have another topic, but it is actually floated out of my brain right now. It is connected to this. I may do a different connected live a little bit later with that other topic that I can't think about right now. And then I'll show a little bit of what I do. Like, I'm 51, so it's not like I'm a gymnast or anything. I can't do back handsprings or anything like that. And my mobility, because of my back and certain things, is a little bit stressed. So I'm going to share just a few things that my yoga teacher taught me to do. And I'm not going to give my yoga teacher's name because she doesn't practice en masse anymore. And she connects with me regularly to make sure that I'm kind of doing what I need to do to keep my back healthy and keep my body kind of moving. I haven't done anything today, so it'll be my warm-up today, probably around midday. So just remember, we're going through this like near-death scenario. We have to experience, or the population needs to experience, those who are not awake yet, failings on every level, in order for their systems to be put into such an offended place. Their souls are so offended by the failings of the government, local and federal, by the medical profession, by companies, big pharma, big box stores, our judicial system. It's like there has to be such a massive failure of the system, near death, for us as a population to wake up and decide to see it, deal with it, and then take right action in our own particular ways. It doesn't mean that you go into the street and are creating a revolution. Maybe civil disobedience is going to be needed, but everything can be peaceful. You know, I'm not talking about violence here. I'm talking about civil disobedience. Open your stores. Don't let your businesses be crushed. All the things I've talked about before. Okay, if you guys need some help, you can reach me at connectedenergyhealing.com. I really appreciate so many of you that have tuned in today. I promise I'll come back in about 10-15 minutes when I listen to my other memo to myself about the other topic, and I'll do some of the simple mobility things that I can do, and I think that many will be able to do. They're all on the floor, so it is predicated on you being able to get onto the floor and off of the floor. So for those who can't, this might not work for you, but I'll just give a little demonstration of what I do for 10-15 minutes every morning before I get the day started. And honestly, that kind of mobility and flow affects the energy, affects the psychology, affects your body. Everything has to flow in order for everything else in your life to flow. All right, I'll end it with that. ConnectedEnergyHealing.com if you need an appointment, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.